Hi, I'm Michael Ronn, and in this video we're going to talk about... What? KDP Select? What? Cut! Seriously, why are we talking about KDP Select?
You've been through this, remember? You have to create good content for your channel.
But everyone has talked about this topic already.
But you have to tell them whether KDP Select is worth it, and the one thing that most authors forget when they think about exclusivity. Remember?
Stay tuned. I'm sure you sensed the sarcasm in the beginning of this video. Well, it's because this topic has been done to death, but I'd like to offer a different perspective. I talk to a lot of authors who, 1, are either enrolled in KDP Select, or 2, ask me if they should. And I usually tell them it's a bad idea. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, for some authors, KDP Select makes a lot of sense. But I'm not a big fan of exclusivity. And no, it's not because I have Amazon derangement syndrome, Amazon dysfunctional syndrome, or whatever you call it. I actually used to suffer from a far worse syndrome that almost killed my author business. It was called not thinking far enough ahead syndrome. According to the American Medical Association, authors who suffer from not thinking far enough ahead syndrome experience smaller royalty checks, increased anxiety, make decisions based on fear, and... Okay, the AMA actually has nothing to say about this disorder. But guys, it's real. Does enrolling in KDP Select mean you're short-sighted? No, not necessarily. Like I said, it makes sense for some authors, especially when there's a lot of money at stake, and especially if you don't have a platform. It can help you. But for most authors, at least the ones who have to ask the question in the first place, it should have no place in their business strategy. I want to show you exactly why going exclusive with Amazon, let alone any retailer, will damage your career long-term in ways that aren't immediately obvious. Let's talk about a tale of two authors. Author A is all in on KDP Select. For the sake of easy numbers, let's say he has one book. That book is only available as an ebook on Amazon. To be generous, we'll also say that he has a print version and an audiobook version of the book available. That's 3 separate revenue streams. Author A is making about $2,500 per month on the book, and he enjoys increased visibility from KDP Select. He nailed his genre, had a good story, a good book cover, a good book description, and all the other minimum requirements that an author should have to be successful. Author B also has one book. She writes in the same genre and has all the same attributes that made Author A successful, so they're both on equal playing ground. She published her book on Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, Smashwords and its various channels, Draft2Digital and its various channels, and she's built relationships with the staff at these retailers, so her book is featured in promotions and sell fairly regularly. She also sells the book on her website using Gumroad. The book's available in paperback through CreateSpace, and the author has done the extra legwork to get her book into bookstores and libraries. It's available as an audiobook on Audible, too. So for the sake of easy numbers, let's say she has 10 revenue streams available minimum for that same book. She also makes $2,500 per month. About 60% of that comes from Amazon, which is around $1,500, and the remaining 40% comes from the other channels. This took her a couple of years to do, by the way. Now let's be fearmongers for a moment and pretend that Amazon, in its infinite wisdom, for unknown reasons, makes changes to its algorithms, and both authors see their sales drop as a result. This can and does happen, by the way. Author A's monthly income drops from $2,500 to $1,000, which is a 60% decrease. Author B also sees her income drop from $1,500 per month to $1,000 per month, a 20% decrease. She and Author A are now making the same amount of money. But Author B's sales on the other platforms are unaffected, so in all actuality, her income only drops $500 per month. With a few new books, some well-timed ads, and a mailing list promotion, she can probably make up the remaining income she lost. Author A, on the other hand, is screwed. Sure, he can release a few more books, but they're not going to launch him to the same rankings on Amazon that he used to enjoy due to the algorithm changes. And he can buy some ads and use his mailing list, but it still doesn't get him around the problem of Amazon's algorithms, which put him in this position to begin with. He's probably not going to make much money. At this point, Author A is going to be trapped. He'll end his exclusivity and jump onto the other retailers, but at this point, it's going to be harder for him to build a relationship because this is exactly what the rest of the KDP Select authors will be doing too. The relationships that Author B built will be bearing their fruit right about now, and she'll be very glad she didn't put all her eggs into one basket. As she releases more books, the number of revenue streams will increase exponentially. After 2 books, she'll have 20 revenue streams. After 3 books, 30. 4 books, 40, and so on. Now, most people talking about KDP Select will usually just leave it at that. But let's take this a step further and ask the million-dollar question. Is author A finished? Is his career over? Probably not. Think about a 401k and why compounding interest works so well for that. At least for you United States viewers. A person who mismanages their money and starts saving at age 50 will never have as much money for retirement as a young person who started saving when they were in high school. But here's the one thing about exclusivity that few people think about. The real question you should be asking is not whether you'll make more money. The question you should be asking is, which potential relationships will I be building and which potential relationships will I be ignoring? That's because revenue streams depend on relationships. It's about how strong your retail channels are and how vibrant your relationships with those retailers are. So when you choose exclusivity, you're really choosing which relationships you prioritize and believe that are the most important to you. And that's not a choice you want to make lightly. Remember, publishing is a business, and the way to grow successful business is to foster relationships. But at the same time, you also want to ensure that losing a key relationship or two won't destroy your business. When you only have one revenue stream, you're asking for trouble. If you're a full-time author and all of your books are in KDP Select, any change that Amazon makes to their algorithms could mean the difference between you being a full-time author and having to go out and get a job. It takes time to build relationships and grow revenue streams. It's really painful in the beginning, but when an industry-altering event happens, you'll be glad you did. And best of all, you won't suffer from not thinking far enough ahead syndrome ever again. Side effects of going wide with your work may include making more money, being better connected in the industry, increased libido, higher self-esteem, feelings of euphoria every time you get paid by multiple retailers each month, and in some rare cases, an unexplainable urge to laugh all the way to the bank. Consult a doctor if you don't experience any of the side effects above. Thanks for watching this video. As a thank you for watching, I've put together a free gift for you. It's a checklist of revenue streams that you can use to make sure that you're getting the most possible income from your books. If you make your work available on even half of the channels on my checklist, you'll position yourself for long-term growth and success. Click the link in the description or in the YouTube card above my head, depending on where you're watching this. If this is your first time watching, I'd love to have you subscribe. Every week I do videos with craft, marketing, and business advice. And I cover publishing industry news that will help you grow your author business, sell more books, and connect with readers. I hope I can play a small part in your future success because it's time for you to get the author career that you deserve. So subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.